Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just put up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you need to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to it. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink. Does it look like you need
one drink? I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
All right, welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things I want to brought to you by is Camo Dumpsters. This is a dumpster company I got out in Tennessee. I'm the VP, and one of the things I want to do is tell you it's growing, it's great things. I'm trying to go to a lot of different places. Don't even want to name the places. I just want you to be able to see my trucks. And one of the things I'm going to tell you is nice. Wait till you see the wrap on that bad boy.
Yeah, really nice.
Man, we just spent a lot of money because, again, I want to grab your attention to understand what we're trying to do. And I'm coming for the big boys. And all y'all know who y'all are. Just understand, I started with y'all. And now that I'm away from you, I'm coming for you. That's what I love to do. And that's what I do at Camo.
Okay.
The dumpster company. They could be right in your yard doing things for you.
Love it, Jay.
Now, I'm going to get away from that. Because tonight, everybody want to know what's going on. And I got to get back to the person who comes in my studio each and every time. He got competition tonight. He comes in with a smile. I'm not for sure if it's for the competition that came in or if it's just my man Craftmatic. How you doing tonight, big baby?
I'm doing great, Smooth Jay. Doing great, man. And listen, it is about me and our guest, right?
So you're going to include it.
Yeah,
you smooth, bro.
Yeah. Listen,
that's why I like doing
we
the
don't
show
get
with
much
you.
company around here, so
No, we don't.
We got to be grateful for our guest tonight.
Right.
By the way, we have our guest JG in the house.
Ooh.
And how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great, guys. Happy to be here to see y'all again.
Good. Glad you're here with us. Happy New Year.
Just tripping on how my boy smiled.
Yes, he always starting something.
You dang all right. Gotta stir the pot before we get started.
How you doing, Smooth Jay?
Man, let me tell you, I'm doing great. And one of the things I got to tell you, this show is therapeutic. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yes, it is.
I get stressed a lot. And I'll have to think about this show and the things that we say. And I shouldn't have let stress ruin my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be people to come for me. And I got to understand how to handle it.
That's absolutely right.
And the saddest thing is a lot of times I take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason for me to take it personal, not know they just an attack.
Yeah.
You can't attack my soul. You don't even know me.
Right.
I allowed you to do something that I allowed. That makes no sense to me.
Absolutely.
So I'm starting to look at things face value, and they come from it like, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
So I just sit back and I listen, and I'm just listening to find out where they're coming from.
Well, you know, the old adage is it's lonely at the top. So if they coming for you, that means you must be doing something right.
And I believe that, and also I sleep good because I don't go to sleep with that.
That's
I let that die right there when they try to give it.
That's absolutely right. We got to elevate above the world and get into our own spirit. Right? That is the name of the game. A great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay.
Yes.
My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
Uh-huh.
We have JG in the house with us tonight.
Yeah.
And of course, we are here to liberate your minds and souls with a fabulous dialogue. We're going to have a conversation here tonight. In fact, here is what we're going to have a conversation about. Is it worth it? Dating, life, business, is it worth it? Let's get to the real nuts and bolts of life and see if we can find more value in the things that we're reaching for, in the things that we're seeking, perhaps in the things that we're attracting, the things that we have. And let's see if we can just get a little bit better understanding of ourselves and where we might be going in our lives.
All right.
And of course, we always expect this show to be a little therapeutic. By the end of this show, we want you to have made some very clear-cut decisions about your life, about yourself, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, what you're going to stand for, what you're not going to stand for. And that's why we say this show is therapeutic, because as we're going through it, really determine what you're going to do. Really determine who you are and how you're going to handle these particular situations. Our objective is to get underneath the surface of life so we can figure out what's really going on.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, once we figure out what's going on, we're able to make crystal clear decisions about ourselves. So we hope you folks enjoy the show. We want to thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Yes.
We always start the show off with a prayer. And I didn't know, Jay, would you like to do our prayer?
Nah, man, knock him over the head.
Okay.
Man,
Anything,
you over there smiling. Go ahead.
anything
Smiley.
you want to pray about tonight? Anything on your mind? Anything in general?
You know, it's a lot on my mind. But I always got to say, one of the things is really just making clear to give it back to him.
Mm.
I always want to look at what I can do better and how I can better a situation. And I need to make sure the Lord knows it's all about him.
Mm.
It's for his glory, not just for mine.
Yes.
And I get that confused sometimes, and I try to make it about me when I know I'm trying to walk that path with him.
Yes.
So I'm trying to make this path not a solo path. It ain't about a couple. It's not about who all I'm with. I'm walking with God all the way.
There
You
you
ain't
go.
gonna walk with us, then you don't need to ever be with me.
There you
Because
go.
I'll never be alone.
There you go. There you go.
And
so
almost sound
let's-
like a prayer, didn't it?
It did. It did sound like a prayer. Let's just go ahead and throw it up to the Lord. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you today just for your awesome power and your grace and your presence in our lives. We ask Heavenly Father tonight that you would just help us to constantly be aware that you are our power.
Mm.
In all the things that we try and all the things that we do and all the things that we did, we want to give all praises and honor unto you. We ask Heavenly Father that you would take our gifts and our talents and that you would use them to maximum potential here in the world. And even though it is our gift, we give you all the praise and all the glory. We ask, Father, for intelligence and wisdom. We ask, Father, that you would teach us and guide us and strengthen us in our direction. Don't let our decisions get in the way, Heavenly Father, but let us be under your presence and your guide and your way. We're asking for God's will to be established in our life right now. That there be no doubts, there are no fears, there are no upsets, there's no haggle about which direction to go and what we have to do. Keep us clear in mind, keep us on a perfect action and a perfect path. We love you, Lord, and we just thank you for all that you are in our lives. We ask that you would be here in this show, do your good and perfect work, and operate in intelligence tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Ooh, you did that. You
Amen.
did that. You added that right into where I was at. Ooh, wait.
Yes, sir.
That's that mental.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I told you this is therapeutic.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I meet so many people who want to take the credit for what they get done in life. And it is absolutely impossible for you to get those things done without deity, without help.
Yeah.
You have an angel standing behind you, looking over your head that can see the next 2 or 3 miles, that can see the next 200 or 300 miles.
Preach it.
And what this God Spirit is going to do is He's going to sometimes He needs to strengthen you before you go through that valley. He can see that there's a valley for you to take right? And He needs you to go through that valley because there's somebody at the bottom you might have to strengthen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's your assignment to strengthen those people. So He knows the valley's coming, but He's going to do something, put some roadblocks in your way. He's going to hold you back. He's going to sideswipe you a little bit, because when He puts that stronghold character in you, then you are ready for the thing that you are about to face.
That's correct.
And we can never walk in this world and not know that God is guiding our steps. Every single thing that happens, every single thing that happens in your life is by divine appointment. There are no mistakes, there are no accidents, there's no irony, there's no coincidence. Everything is happening by divine appointment. Every eye that you look in, every hand that you shake, every task that you undertake,
Same.
every effort that you do, every thought that you think is of His purpose. And that's why we all need to get a little closer to Him so we can hear His true direction, so we can hear His true wisdom. We can hear. You know, I used to take for granted the words that the beginning of wisdom was understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew what that meant. What does understanding mean? Understanding is like gold and platinum,
Yes.
because the understanding puts you in line with the manifestation.
Ooh, say it again. I like that.
The understanding puts you in line with a manifestation.
I mean, literally say it again.
Yeah. The understanding puts you in line with a manifestation.
Because they understand the gold and silver and the value of it and where it comes from,
Yeah.
of the earth.
Yeah.
But we valueize things that somebody else put in front of us.
Yes.
That's not where you really need to be. That's why you need to get back to the earth. That's why that substance has so much value.
Yes.
But that's what we missing.
Mm-hmm.
We're missing value.
Yes.
And that's why you need to be with him, because he's going to get you the value that you need to get down to that valley.
Yeah.
You don't even know how steep it is. You don't even know what all you got to go through. But when he prepare you, you will float through it.
Absolutely.
It's just like going through hell. Everybody say how hot it is. I wouldn't know because I never stop.
Yes.
As I go through my pains, I keep going.
There you go.
I know he has
There
me.
you go.
I know it's not going to be comfortable, but he gave me the tools to make it through.
Yeah. I came up with a caption this week that everybody needs to be on their toes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you're running, you are on your toes. When you're moving real fast, you're on your toes. You're almost never on your heels.
Okay.
Right? And so if you stay on your toes, you have agility.
Okay.
You potentially have speed. You can move, and ultimately you can't be on your heels with the Lord, because He's always moving your direction. He's always pushing you to the left, pushing you to the right, giving you some new information. You got to stay on your toes. You got to stay ready for life. And so even though you are headed to the valley, if you aren't on your toes, you're gonna wind up on your behind.
Yeah. And
You
I
know?
totally agree with that. But some people got bad feet. I'm just gonna put that out.
Some people do.
Some people got bad feet. I see them. I pull the cover back.
If you got
Scary feet, bro.
that's boomerang.
Yeah. They crossed up.
Yeah.
You know, they need to pray for that.
If you got bad
Straighten
feet, ask the Lord.
To straighten them out, help you out.
Yeah, straighten them out, take
You got
care of
bad
them.
feet.
Yeah.
And this thing.
Remove the corns and all that.
Yeah. And the smell.
Because you don't need to be on
Extra
your toes.
skin.
Stop it. What?
I got footprints, man. I'm just saying.
Don't tell the world that.
I mean, the world, some they see them.
No, we don't want to hear
If
about
I
that.
see them, I see y'all see them.
No, we don't want to
Just
see
back to you. I'm sorry. Yeah. Get off tangent. My bad. But bad feet.
That's okay.
That bad feet. Don't let the bad feet stop you from your mission, though. Number one thing is a joke, but don't take that to a point where you ain't understanding his path and his power.
Yes.
Because he can straighten all things. It ain't just your feet, it's your life.
Yes.
Please understand. Live your heaven. Quit living in your hell. That's all I'm
There
saying.
you go. There you
But
go.
let's get to the top. Let's get to
All right.
We're going to do this all night.
Let's
What we
talk
got?
about the subject for tonight.
Okay.
It's kind of an open subject. It's called "Is It Worth It?"
Ooh.
In dating, life, business, the things of this world, is it worth it?
I guess
How would you start, Jay?
I'm going to go first. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to go with business.
Business, okay?
In business, and I work my way from the bottom to the top, and then I wanted my own. Is it worth it? If you're not willing to sacrifice and understand it ain't what you think it is, and have a better understanding of what you're doing, then it ain't gonna be worth it. But if you're not willing to sacrifice, I promise you, trying to own your own will be one of the most difficult things you can probably do.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of knowledge, and you have to be open-minded to accept information and
Right.
process it the best way you can for the vision that you have.
Yeah.
That process is something that's not always done, and is always usually broken because somebody else going to give you something other than your vision. And now it can add value, but the bottom line, if you don't have substance, then you will accept everything and you will lose your own.
Yes.
And then your product will never be yours. It will always be somebody else's.
There you go.
That's like you got a great song, but somebody on your master. Somebody else is always going to have control over you. So my whole thing is to know your product, know your vision, know where you're going, but you can control your destiny. And then your business will be profitable more for what you wanted compared to somebody else.
Mm.
Because that's how people steal projects and steal things from you, because they have that process and they know it. And they see if you don't, and how they can play with you. I have people come to me all the time, I can fund your business. You know, look at the interest rate. It's ridiculous. I mean, y'all hear about interest rate of 17, how about 36?
Right.
You know, and we talking on millions.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they talk great until you see the bottom line. Everybody's not about you, it's about them. Most contracts is going to be a contract written for someone else, never you.
Right.
So please, before you sign anything, have somebody else second read it, look at it, and a lawyer even. Because one of the things I tell you, most of the time when they get you in a contractual agreement, even when I do it to somebody else, it's going to benefit me. If I'm asking you to sign a contract, it's going to benefit me. I'm so sorry for people to think that I'm really going to give you a contract that's going to have your best interest. And I'm the one that's funding it.
Right.
It makes no fundamental sense.
Right.
And that's what I want to bring to people's attention. Not saying everybody's going to really hoodwink you. I just said make sure that it benefits you as well, to make sure it's a good contract or it's a bad deal. And you signed it, you stuck on it.
Yeah.
I signed one a long time ago off key when I got married. Till death do us part. Hate to throw this in here. Death do us part. That means we can break up because she cheated or adultery or whatever reason, unsolvable differences. I signed something that said till death. She gave me a reason why we're not together. I signed something that said I'm going to look after her until she's dead. And everybody forgets that when they're out there marrying all these people. You sign a whole lot of contracts with God's name on it.
Right.
And then you wondering why we got these problems. Because they forgetting and they got out of. They feel, I got out of it because I wasn't this and I wasn't that. But you signed it with the understanding why. That's a contractual agreement. That's called a blood agreement. That's back when you cut each other's finger and put it together. Only thing stop that is death.
Right.
But it's in the contract when you marry somebody, till death do you part. But everybody's talking about the reason why you can part because she did this, she did that. It gives you a reason to be away from that person. It doesn't nullify the contract that you signed. And that's the sad thing.
Yeah.
Because that's all I hear. And that's why I brought contractual agreements up. Because I don't think everybody reads everything they sign. But then you wonder about the problems you have in your life. I just want to make people live better. Because it shouldn't be about a hell. It should be about a glory of his life. And that's what he sacrificed. And that's in Jesus' name.
Mm-hmm.
That sacrifice is for you to live better. But we still try to do the same.
Yeah.
That's why I want people to look at that. So in business, yes, is it worth it when you take that due diligence to learn everything that you can and put forth the work, not because you want to be the boss because you don't want to work. That non-working portion of it is not going to work.
Not going to work.
It's not going to work. I'm just helping you out. If that's the only reason you want to be the boss, I promise you, you're going to be the boss. This case, stay working for somebody. And happily, they'll keep on paying you. So just get paid and be happy. But being the boss, you have to have a better understanding to keep things more fair or you're going to fall victim to a lot of things that goes on in life.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, in marriage, is it worth it? When you have the understanding what marriage is, quit getting married because she just wanted, you want it, and you ain't in love with marriage. Because it's a long term of work. And for you to even want it, you already let me know you about to work. I ain't mad at you. I wanted it back too. I didn't want to stay divorced and single. I wanted to get back into it too. But everybody ain't going to give it to you the same way. So you got to really look at, is it worth it? With the right person? Hell yes. But with a person that want to just play you? No. Misery can stay where it's at.
Right.
It don't have to stay with me. So is it worth it in marriage? It can be with the right person, yes. With the wrong person, it's going to be your decision. Because I'm not going to tell you what to do and when to leave somebody. Because I really feel like once you committed and you sign that, that's a lifelong commitment of understanding that it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be a lot of pains, but giving up is not on the option because that's what you decide. And I really feel like if you want options, then date and figure it out before you marry. Don't push marriage first just because that's what the Bible or that's what pastor said and you ain't having a good understanding because that was a traditional thing that's done totally different now over here in America compared to other places. That's when two families came together and made wealth off the fact that she kept herself pure and the boy normally wasn't. But the bottom line, that's what it was. Families come together. That ain't even the case no more. Now it's because I love them and I don't care what my family say. That's not traditional at all. So don't use new ways with old traditions because they ain't going to mix. And that's why the divorce rate is high as hell. It's not going to stop. It's you having a better understanding what you're signing yourself into. So I say love marriage and understand that before you run yourself into it. Or it's going to be another failed contract where a lot of people fall victim to. I don't want no more victims. I want happiness and success. And it's only going to happen with a dialogue. And that's the dialogue we have now.
Absolutely.
So we got marriage, we got business, and is life worth it? When you walk with God, everything is worth it.
Sure.
When you walk by self, be open to understand mistakes going to happen and he will still have you. Never forsake him because he'll never forsake you. And then you can get back on path. But feeling like he's not there for you and disrespecting his power, then it ain't worth it. But I ain't saying kill yourself. I'm saying change yourself. Because he's never asking you to end it. He's asking you to change for him. And I think that's the saddest thing is a lot of people make you feel like you have no value. He ain't never walked with somebody and saying, yeah, if you was just born and lived a second, you changed and made an impact on people's lives. Everything can be important when you see a bigger picture. He's the bigger picture, not you. Right. So live your life according to what he wanted it to be, and you'll live within a glory not a hell.
Ooh, that's good, Jay.
So them my
That's
three.
good, Jay. And Jay, chime in. What would you say there? Is it worth it?
Relationships, no. I'll get straight to it.
Okay, I see.
Okay, I like
But that's
that.
the reason why I say relationships aren't worth it a lot of times. Because, like, what did you say earlier? You give people a squeeze and they don't be worth the juice a lot of times.
Yeah.
She snitching.
Yeah.
She snitched. I was behind stage. I said it though. I didn't say it.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like I feel like you put a lot of effort and you put a lot of time into other people and you put a lot of love, and then next thing you know, you turn around and this person is garbage. So then you find yourself down, out, and heartbroken.
Okay.
And why does it take us to be down, out, and heartbroken by somebody or have a failed love to be able to focus on ourselves and do what we need to get done and,
That's
excel,
That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. And I don't know why the Lord made it that way, but it seems like once we hit a brick wall in anything and we're alone, we're broke, we're all these things,
Yeah.
then we start working on ourselves.
Yeah.
Let me
It's
give
like-
it a crack of why.
Go ahead.
I think the Lord has a sense of humor. And one of the things is he's trying to bring you from a place where you feel comfortable to a place where you're not going to be.
Yeah.
Anything that you follow of his is not going to be a comfortable path.
Not
I'm
gonna
just
be
telling you.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to take you to places that you're not going to be comfortable because you don't even know where you're going.
Right.
But see, while you're comfortable there, he has to break that.
Okay.
For you can understand what more is coming. Because if not, you'll be happy where you're at and you'll never be your fullest potential. You will see this planted in the ground that would never harvest you.
Right.
And his whole thing is because the person that's over you is never going to water you. So what's going to happen is going to break the person to make you realize you got to be kind of unhappy before you can bring somebody that's going to water you. And then you're going to be the best you. And that person that watered you already had him. He's already spiritually given. And all he's doing is pouring out what the Lord has poured through him. We just a give and take. But I always like to say a woman is a multiplier.
Yes.
So anything that I can give you from my heart, you will make more. And that's what I really feel when you really are full of the spirit instead of full of lust or feeling of man or feeling of the world. You can understand the value of people when you understand the value of you.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I have come to the notion that this is a principle of life. I don't think the Lord is going to let you ever fall in love with anything more than you love him.
Okay.
And I have a feeling sometimes that two people can operate in their own life and then they can come together, operate in their life in a good way. Loving the Lord, being strong, being healthy, being happy. And then when you come to merge, there's a lot of gaps. A lot of gaps of unsatisfaction. Maybe because you don't know. Maybe because it isn't a good fit. Maybe he's got some baggage. Maybe she's got some baggage. And you have to start to deal with those things. And sometimes in your fight to deal with those things, you lose sight of the Lord. And I think ultimately he's always attempting to bring you back. He's always attempting to reel you in like, okay, you see that bullshit right there? If you don't look back at me and have me to help you with this, it's going to continue to be a brick wall.
I like that. You know why?
Right?
We don't. I'm going to use that as a prime example. A lot of time I was going through something, I always say in relationships, if me and you are into this, it's me and you. We ain't telling your mom and daddy, I ain't telling mine. We ain't bringing our cousins and all them into it because you already know when you make up, they never forget. And they always be a thorn in your relationship.
Right.
You did that. So don't do that.
Don't ever do that. Right.
But turn to the Lord. Because some of the stuff is for you to have a better understanding because he might be opening you up to realize it's something you can tolerate or not. But bottom line, in a relationship, there's going to be a lot of things that have to be tolerated. Okay? Long as the respect and love is still there.
Right.
Because it's not going to be perfect. And marriage is 10 times worse.
Yes.
Because it's always a work. Because there's no giving up. There's no more options to me. You giving up the options, you're going to find ways to make it work. So I said, before you take that serious steps to understanding and being long term, short term, have a better understanding of what I'm dealing with. Because that's an investment. Don't invest with ain't investing back with you.
Right.
Because
Right.
they want one
Watch
thing
this.
and you can't give it, then why is it just one thing when we supposed to be working together?
watch this. I don't believe any one person can just satisfy you. I believe it's got to be Lord in the midst of it. Period. It's not a single person. You can have soulmates and significant others and wives and husbands. That none of that is enough to satisfy you. You have to have deity in the midst of that, because deity can see the walk that you're making, and he can bring the bridges together. He can bring that thing we call love, which is the spiritual glue that holds us all together. He can bring some love in there, and it will hold it together, right? Watch this. I just came up with just a couple of major points here, right?
Go for it.
The question is it worth it?
Okay.
Is it worth it if? There's always going to be an if. The point I'm trying to make. It's always going to be an if. It is worth it. Is it worth it? It is worth it if you are willing to fight.
Okay.
I like to say yes. You have to have that.
It is worth it if you can see the bigger picture.
Hold on. Let me go back. I want to be against everything. Is it worth it if you're willing to fight? Not if you're not willing to change.
That's part of fighting.
No.
Change is part of the fight.
No. If you're fighting and you're not changing, because I can fight for you, but I'm not willing to better myself. And I'm just giving you a way of looking at it, because again, there's people that still want to be with you, but they still want to do their dirt. Okay? If you fighting for me because I see I did wrong and I still want you and I want to change, then that's a fighter I want on my team. Please understand, there's people that fight for you and they don't want to change anything. They want you to accept and just go with the fact that I'm willing to be with you. No, you can take that off, okay? Because that ain't bettering neither one of us. I'm going to have to tolerate your bull that's not getting me closer to him, and you're not getting close to him at all, because you're not following him. You're going for self.
Yeah.
And you're a selfish-ass person that just want to fight for me, but you don't want to care for me and love me and respect me.
And let me finish speaking on that.
And that's just that other backside.
There are, it is worth it if you're willing to fight. It is worth it if you see the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
It is worth it if you're willing to be uncomfortable.
Okay.
Here's another one that I just got from you, Jay. It was worth it, but now it's not worth it anymore.
You know something I like that when you
Right.
Hey, you took words. Hey, I'm done. Drop the mic. Show's over.
I mean,
Next show.
we have to understand that everything is relative. That means everything, needs everything else to be okay.
I agree.
And if everything else is not okay, then it's not going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a place where you have to say, I have had enough.
Right.
It is no longer worth it anymore. And that's in dating, in life, in business, and every other field of human endeavor under the sun. There comes a time, I have this quote in Minecraft, and it says, a fool is patient. No. Patience is important, but only a fool would wait forever. Right? We need patience. And what does that say? What does that really say? That says that all the way along the journey, we have to assess the worth of this effort.
Okay.
If this person in my life, this business I'm trying to build, this company I work for, this neighborhood I live in, what I eat, what I drink, we always have to determine the worth of the thing that we are participating in, right?
I totally agree with that. I got to inject something. I like it. But in a relationship, one of the things I tell you is when you go into it strong and you put a lot on the table, and everybody say what people bring to the table, I like to say an understanding of how you want to be treated, how you like for things to go, because this should be a conversation. And with all these things that you talk about on the upfront, it's shown differently in the relationship. Because everybody won't stand by what they say. And I'm telling you, you have to tolerate some of it because, again, you kids don't give up because of the fact they don't do everything they say. My whole thing is understanding how much are you doing what you say compared to what they are, so you can evaluate and make a better decision. Is it worth it? Because, again, the longer I go in it, the more value I'm giving it, and it's going to be harder for me to walk away from it. So I really got to evaluate before I get to that highest point, because once I'm married, that's a done dollar. Okay? That's the end of all, because at that point, there's no out. It's always going to find a way to make it work. So my whole thing is, as I do this, I'm trying to make sure I do a build-up for I kind of understanding of what I'm walking with. Right. It's like knowing your team. And that's just in life. No different than a job. A lot of people say, I got to make sure I insure my job. My whole thing is sure my value. I show jobs I have a value. Okay? I don't look at it as a pay. I look at it as a value. If you don't see the value in what I do, then I'm scared to see if I'm going to be fired. I could care less. You come in and fire me tomorrow from my highest position to my lowest, and I already know I can find something else. I know what I bring. And when you know you bring some good qualities, don't get me wrong, there's going to be some people that step on you. There's going to be some people that talk down on you. But they'll never understand you until you stand strong on where you at. And a lot of times they ain't going to respect you until they start knowing you. I didn't come into none of my jobs respect. Okay? Everybody want to make me earn their respect. I ain't earned nothing. I stay consistent. And just like in a relationship, I stay consistent. When I see you inconsistent and you try to make me anything less than what I am, I will leave.
Yeah, and it's important that you're willing to leave.
Oh,
You know, some things are not forever. They're just for a season,
Yes.
right? And you have to be willing to call it. You know, when it's no longer working for you, you have because people hate to say no. It's hard for people to say no. It's very
Why?
difficult for people to
Ask
say
me
no.
for some money.
Yeah.
Watch me.
Yeah.
No.
But there are a lot of people who don't want to say no, and
Why?
somehow they end up just doing things. Don't ask me. It's the world in general.
No. It's the world. I want to talk about why.
They're not
You're a
confident
yes
in
person.
themselves.
You like to
they
be-
want to please others.
There you go.
Whatever they have.
Get out of that. Get out of that. Let's get out of it right now. Okay? On this show, I want y'all to look at yourselves. If you are a yes person, you're looked at as a weak person. Don't let nobody belittle you because they know you're gonna say yes. Get some strength and say no. I'm gonna tell you something. Opposition is gonna be a bigger growth than yes. Why? Because when I say no, most people ask me why. When you say yes, they got their hand out. Because they already asked you for something.
Yeah.
You say yes, the hand is out. Okay? That's a gift. I say no, you might be able to give me say yes. I'm giving you a no offer. Why? I can't do everything for everybody. So I can't just always say yes. I say yes more to my children than anybody else because again they know me. And they grew it in my. But when I start talking to everybody else, it's gonna be more no's than yeses. Why? I have to be more disciplined. Because I have to plan. If I know where my business need to go, I can't say yes to everything because I never get there. I'm always handing out and I never achieve my goals doing that. So I have to learn to be stern. It's not being a behind hole and not giving you everything everything I give you won't be what you really need. It's a band-aid to a situation that you might not ever change. If I give a person the money and they don't crack, that just gives them the opportunity to go buy crack. It doesn't get them off.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to say no to get a person to lean to a better direction. If I'm giving you money and you ain't pawing under your stuff, you ain't learning no lesson. And I hate to say it like that to a lot of people that like to borrow, but you got to think about it. If you didn't suffer, you ain't going to change. If I just get it and then I got past that bad situation where I had all these bills due and you gave me this money, I got past that situation. I might not change my situation. So guess what? Later on, next month, I'm in the same situation. I'm back begging again. That's what I'm saying. A lot of time you got to go through heartache to make change in your life. And that's best for you. But what you do is you inflict it on other people. So now other people got to feel your pain. They're paying your debt for you to keep on doing the same thing. That's why I said no is something we need to look at and quit looking at it as being mean, being negative, and it is a word of power.
Yes. Is it worth it? Only if you're going to stand up to the test.
Ooh, I like that.
Is it worth it? If you're willing to say no. Listen, if you're a boss and you can't say no, you got problems.
More than what you know.
You got problems because other people are going to be leading your boss mentality with their questions and their inquiries and their wants and their desires. And you're going to let a soft heart cause you to spend more money or do some stuff that you know you can't make up for. It's going to take a long time to make up for it. And now you're short on your venture.
Because they want to be liked
Right.
too. I want to be liked. I don't want everybody to be mad.
So,
Everybody don't get mad when no comes out.
so we're saying, so let me get this straight. We're saying there's power in the word no.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Yes. How you do it? No. Yes. No.
No.
Yes. It's power in the word no.
Yes.
And the answer is yes, it's power.
Well, see, what you have to do in any of those scenarios is you're going to have discernment.
Facts.
You're going to have some insight And you're going to immediately say, if someone is asking you for money, you're going to immediately say, okay, they borrowed money before, and so they didn't pay it back, so no. Or they don't even have no purpose, no rationale for it,
Right.
so no. You know what? They've been working real hard. They've been following through. They've been asking questions. They've been asking for help. They've been doing what they were supposed to do. You know what? I'm gonna trust this person, right?
Yeah.
So you're discerning the situation. Again, nothing is going to take place without understanding. Nothing good is going to take place without understanding. You know. Just to keep us moving on, we're down here probably to our last 9 or 10 minutes. One of the very first things you said, Jay, was probably my favorite set of words here. Is it worth it? It's only worth it if you're willing to sacrifice.
Yes.
In anything under the sun, it's on. You think about an artist or a teacher or a ball player or anybody, an actor. Those people don't get paid till toward the end.
Correct.
They don't get paid toward the second half. And they're going to interviews and shows and they're trying to get known. They're writing letters.
Right.
They're working behind the scenes. They're writing. They're studying. And oftentimes that can happen for years before they make a breakthrough.
Correct.
Right? Anyone who's been married 20, 30 years will tell you there was years where we couldn't stand each other. Where we weren't together. We weren't a couple. We just were married. Right? You have to have some patience in your process. The other thing you have to do, what makes it worthwhile, is that you're paying attention. There's always going to be a need for change. There's always going to be a need to say no this time. There's always going to be a need to drop some new ideas. There's always going to be a time to step back and slow the process down.
Right.
But you got to be willing to stand in that gap and make those decisions. That's what makes it worth it. Every business person who's ever made it successfully will tell you that there became a point where it was make or break time. There was a point where, hey, I was about to fall off the cliff and I didn't know how I was going to make it. And I just, I didn't know what I was going to do. And all of a sudden something would happen, right? But it wasn't worth it if they weren't willing to step in that gap. That was a painful gap. That was a lonely gap. That was a broke gap, right? And everyone who's ever made success happen in their life had to be willing to stand in that broke gap.
I gotta talk on this one.
You gotta have patience in the process of success. It is worth it if it's going to create good. And sometimes it's worth it even if it creates bad, because what we did was we learned. We grew. So now we don't have to hit that same wall 15 times. We've got enough knowledge in us, enough experience in it to say, hey, let me step back for a second so I don't have to hit that brick wall as fast. Maybe I don't have to hit it at all. But we've got to be on our toes. Isn't that the first thing we said?
Yes, the first thing you said.
Okay.
As I said, bad feet happen. But I will say, you made it very quick. You got to be up on your toes, not on your heels.
Yeah.
And that's how it all comes back around. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved, how you was really formulating everything. Because you answered so many questions to me that a lot of people are not really asking.
Yes.
And that's what this show is really about. It's really a conflict in life. And it's going to be up to you. It's going to be your equation. And a lot of people ain't going to like everything we got to say. It gets you to thinking. That's why we got a guest that's an artist. She's hearing this. She can jump in and say at any time, y'all are wrong. She's able to say anything she likes. That's what I like about her. Because she's an artist that works behind the scene and does everything. And I don't know if Kraft's seen it all, but we're following her. So we believe in her. But again, even in believing, she has a lot of work she's showing us. And that's what makes us want to back her. Because it's not just a fad. But even in all that work, it might not be noticed right away. Just because we see it don't mean the world do. But that's why the world, we have her. So before she gets super big, man, y'all just remember where she was. Because we believed in her early on, because I think she got a lot to give the world. And we appreciate you for coming tonight.
I appreciate you guys so much. I love coming out on the show with you guys because y'all give out a lot of knowledge that I feel like I myself need to hear and the world needs to hear.
Yes.
I made some valid points when you said when we were talking about business and success as an artist, and is it worth it? Because you say it's a lot of heartache. You have friends that you start with that you don't end with, because you find out along the way they were fake hating and low key want to see you down. They want to see you succeed. They want to tear you down any way they can because they're scared of what they've been seeing in you, but you're just now seeing it in you.
Right.
You know, it's hard being a focused artist and trying to have people around you and be grounded, because a lot of times when you're working on your success and building yourself up, you shed off a lot of people that you thought meant some good to you and that you loved.
Yes.
And they didn't mean you no good the whole time.
And listen, that is one of the greatest hardships of success.
Yes, it is.
Leaving people behind. You got your childhood friend with you, and you know they got your back if it comes to scrapping. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know they got your back. Maybe even when it comes to money. But you're elevating to heights that they can't see, and maybe they are clean cut enough. Maybe they are they don't speak well enough. And then you're gonna have to start positioning them so that they can't ruin your opportunity. Right. And in attempting to do that, that can damage some relationships.
Yeah.
But you cannot be afraid to drive forward without a known team. You have to keep grinding forward.
Facts.
Right. And it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough, but you have to put some of those things away. Here's one of the other ones that I really like.
What's that?
Is it worth it if you have a vision?
Yes.
You step out there with just a mediocre plan. You step out there spending money, don't know where you're going, don't know what you're doing. You haven't asked any questions. You haven't done any research. You haven't studied your market. You haven't put intensity behind a strategy. You're going to find that it's not worth it.
I will tell you yes, but I will also tell you it'll still give you experience.
Yeah.
Compared to sitting on a couch wondering, I will always say, on the side of that note, that some of the things that I experimented with, I didn't do all the research. I didn't get the fullness of what I should have done on the upfront, but it gave me therapy as I went through, because it was a mentalness of what I was doing anyway. And then I wanted to see if I was capable of doing it. That's the self-improvement of my own. So now that I did it, and then everybody told me I should have did it this way and that way, now I'm getting more ideas. So at least they see my project. And if I wouldn't have brought my project to the front, it'd always stayed in my head.
Right.
And I would have died with it, like
Right.
a lot of people do.
Right.
So my whole thing is get it in front of you. And sometimes you're going to get it in front of people that's going to tell you wrong ways of what you was doing, and you can make some adjustments. It's like 409. I already know there's going to be a lot of formulas that don't work. And I might be the main contributor to adding formulas that don't work. But you'll find good people that'll add things to you and make a formula, your formula, but a better formula.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with Bar Talk with Jay, because I didn't start this by myself. I started this with craft because, again, I wanted to craft. Like I just do craft in there. I wanted to craft something together. And that's more than just what I could do. Because God had me. And he already showed me God got him. So let's craft something.
Yeah.
And we have done that.
Yeah.
And in a way that a lot of people say you should have did it like this, did it like that. But understand, we was already blessed to be able to afford to do it. So we just went on ahead and did it. And we committed to it for going on 6 years. And that's hard to say anybody really can do, because most people stop way earlier than that.
Yeah.
Because they don't see the fruit labor. It's more than just fruits and labor. If you ain't willing to see anything through, you're going to quit. We ain't trying to quit. So it's easy for somebody to see they dedicated. And that's what gives you value.
Yeah.
Your dedication.
Yeah. That's what gives, the value comes as a result of hanging in there.
Mhm.
And that's dedication, right? Just like
All
Jay
day
said.
long.
I want to just say this before we close up. We're out of time here in just a moment, but I haven't talked about dating. And my heart goes out to you. Right?
Well, wait a minute, how your heart go out to her? I need to know more about the day.
Listen, she's a go-getter.
Uh-huh.
She's a very attractive woman.
Okay.
She's out managing things, doing things. She's
Right.
making her dream come true.
Uh-huh.
Right? And you and I know
Okay.
that in the world of dating, you're going to meet a lot of knuckleheads. You're going to meet a lot of people who are not worth it.
Correct.
So my advice would be,
Mhm.
I would just say it this way. It is worth it. Dating is worth it. Just don't take the dating process serious.
Ah, okay.
Don't look for the love of your life in a dating process. Look for some friends, and some people you enjoy. Right?
I hope ain't nobody in their life right about
Well,
that.
I'm only saying that because what happens is people get together and they start diagnosing each other, right? Rather than enjoying the date.
Yeah.
Enjoy the damn date. And enjoy the drink. Enjoy looking each other's eyes. Enjoy talking about things, right? Don't look for Mr. Right in that moment, right?
Okay.
Mr. Right or Mrs. Right will make their presence known every single time.
You're right.
But what we are seeing is people who aren't Mr. and Mrs. Right, and when they make themselves known,
Right.
you ain't gonna be hurt by leaving their ass,
Nope.
right?
There's
By
no
putting them
value.
on the sideline. You're gonna meet, if you do it this way, you'll meet more friends, and you'll have more value in your dating activity. You'll get more value out of the dating activity because the guy who you don't like, who you don't want to date, he might know somebody who can bring you up. He might be going through a situation that you are familiar with, and you can help him, and you can speak positive words into him, and
Right.
hold on to him in a certain way. Doesn't have to be love. Stop falling in love with everybody who you go out with.
You're right.
Like them a lot, love them not yet, and that way you'll protect your heart. When love sparks, it has its own flame. You don't have to do anything but participate, right? But you got to be discernful if this person is going to ultimately bring you up or bring you down. And if there's any one of those things that can bring you down, pay special attention to that and make sure you pray over it, you assess it, you understand it, because you're going to have to sacrifice for that thing, whatever that is. It's going to make you mad, it's going to make you upset,
Right.
but that's what you chose, and you knew it was there probably from day one.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
When people tell me, I got my special powers, and I'm like, yeah, I can sense when somebody ain't good.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened to that last man you was with? Didn't seem too well for you then. I mean, but you got this special gift. I'm
Right.
just saying, I don't know what gift you have,
Right.
but I want to make sure you utilize it in the right way. And I like how you was telling her, don't take everything for love. Don't take everything as book value, but have your values in front of you. And then you can see where you want to categorize a person because they're not going to be a good fit.
Right.
But if you love you and know you, it's easier for you to see and place a person compared to a person placing you.
There you go.
And again, a lot of times when you look at success can be looked at in a lot of different ways. And I like to say it ain't going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
The success that you have is not going to be there. So I wouldn't look for them and their success. I would look to see if they can value you for yours.
They can bring value here.
Right.
That's
Because
the
if they
key.
can't bring value to you and they're very successful, that's how they got there. They took it from everybody else. So that might not be where you want it.
Right.
But I promise you, the ones that's willing to give it to you and share things with you is the ones you'll be able to look at a little bit differently. And then that's a different friendship and relationship.
There you go.
And that's how you evaluate.
Friendship. I love that word.
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
When y'all said y'all really taught me something there
Okay.
because I'm not dating right now,
Okay.
and that's because I am a hopeless romantic.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
So I
put it out
believe
there
in
too.
like fairy tale stuff. I be in a whole different world.
Yeah.
But it is it's scary just trying to even date people. I don't like to give people a lot of my energy. So a lot of times I keep my energy to myself
Yes.
because I'm just people don't have good intentions.
I agree.
And it's scary out there. So
Yeah, we talked several times on the show that 8 out of 10 people are probably not real good people.
right.
Right. And so you're really only looking at 2 out of 10,
Yeah, right.
and one of them got some baggage. One of them just isn't the right fit. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I love your commentary. Finally, is it worth it? It is if it means something to me.
Okay. Yeah.
I could care less what the world thinks about it. I have made the decision that it's worth it for me, and thus I'm going to attack.
Yeah.
If I have to attack all alone.
I feel the same way. Is it worth it in business? Yes. Came a long way. Like my strives, love my growth, and love my impact. And that's what I try to leave on the world, an impact.
Yes.
Make sure you leave something that the world will be able to see you did.
Yes.
Do I love it in business and Bar Talk with Jay? Love the impact.
Right.
Love the shows. It's therapeutic. It started helping me, and now I see it can go out to others. Love it.
Love it.
Dating, marriage, I wasn't good at it.
That's all right.
I failed
That's
in
all right.
marriage.
It's all right.
I admit my failures. I understand I failed because it's over. I'm divorced. Been divorced for over 2 years. But dating is an avenue that I like to say is very interesting because my points of view in dating is not therapeutic at all. It's kind of confusing because everybody's not on the same level. And how to get people on these different levels, that's why I love the show because I'm trying to get us to mesh better so we have a better understanding. And I don't always have the right answers. That's why I bring different people on. I don't feel like I know it all. And I don't ever want nobody to listen to our show and feel like we do. I am bringing formulas together so we can figure out what's best going to fit. And I believe every night I sleep well because God knows we have the purest intent. But unfortunately, everybody can use our pure intent in evil ways. Then you hear how you say you're a romantic and then use romantic things to get to you, knowing that they don't really want you. That's the saddest thing about people that I'm noticing today. Is this a use, and it's not a care, okay? And I'm going to leave love alone. It's not a care. If you don't see a caring factor, just beware of love. Because anytime you love, care is going to be there. And I say leave love alone and get back to care. Because if you were the person that don't show no damn care, there's no reason
That's
you
a
should be
sign
loved.
right there.
That's the number one thing.
That's a sign.
Care should always somewhere be there. And care should be in you as well.
Yeah.
Because he cared enough to give you life, then you should be caring enough to give life back. And I ain't always talking about making all these kids for all y'all that's this horny in hell. Caring is giving of the heart and understanding what God has for you and what you're trying to give back to others. That's just that pouring out of.
There you
And
go.
that's what Bar Talk with Jay is. Let's pour it out.
And this has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. We have Jay Gia in the house. And where can we find you, Jay Gia?
On all platforms at JGM Music.
All right. All right. And we want to thank you folks for being here with us tonight. Just another opportunity for us to be leaders here in our own community. And of course, share wisdom with the world. Hopefully you've learned something. You've grown in a certain way here today. You've heard something that was magical, meaningful to your life. We are here every Thursday from 7 to 8, Facebook Live. We're on all major platforms. Just look us up, Bar Talk with Jay. And of course, you can even go on the website and leave comments or try to reach us if you'd like to. We thank you folks so much for being a part of this show. Never forget that we love you. We appreciate you. And with that, we are out.
Ain't no last